welcome back to the channel. I'm the Crimson Canadian Macdor, and this is the episode 2 for the beginner's grind. So at the very beginning here, we're going to go over our characters again. As you can see, I picked up Neuraxis with my 5-star ticket in the last episode. I'm gearing up Marianne, sorry if I'm butchering her name. I'm also going to gear up Cleo and Frey. So the biggest thing here, I've got about 5 million gold, which you get from the very start by just completing some of the achievements here. And I think it's in the beginner's award or rewards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of these 10+1 general grinds. It's going to give me some basic gear. And what I'm going to be looking for is ancient gear pulls. Now, ancient gear pulls gives us reduced damage in chapter battles from enemies or bosses, and it also increases damage to enemy bosses in chapter battles. So I'm going to be looking for this ancient gear with these little pulls. I believe we pull a couple of them here. In a second here, it's going to be a red style gear. And you want to get that on your damage dealers. You also want to get them on your tanks. Like we say right there, we pulled one ancient gear. That is a hat for a wizard. So again, because it's going to increase your damage output in chapter battles, but also decrease damage input from the enemies. Now, while we're kind of going through this in the background, I'm going to talk about a good thing you want to do before you get into gaming or before you start playing your games on a daily basis is getting yourself warmed up. Now, warming up is an important part of every day. This allows the body to contract and increase our cardiovascular system. Even for gamers, as you know, we need to have our body working at a good functional state because we need to be able to react, again, reaction time to certain situations. And now if you're cold and the body's not working right or your blood's not pumping to the body areas, we're not going to be able to react quickly enough. You're going to get sore, you're going to get tired, and we want to reduce that. So doing a proper warm-up is critical, even for us gamers. Like imagine ice, right? Ice is cold, it's frozen. It's the same with the body. If we're cold and we're frozen before we even get into game, you're not going to be able to move quickly. You're going to be frozen. It's going to be sore. It's going to be tiring. So again, warming up is going to be critical. So like we said, like before, the warm up is a good spot to start before you start gaming. It's going to allow us to move faster, have quicker reaction speeds, and it's going to make us a little bit stronger as well. Because it's just like any kind of sport as well. In sport-specific training, we warm up those areas that we want to get warmed up before the game. It's the same for gaming. When we're gaming, we're seated most of the time. Sometimes we have the standing a standing desk, but most of us are going to be seated when we're playing. We're going to be holding a controller. Our shoulders are going to be up. We're going to have stress going through the neck. We're going to be looking down or looking up. You know, a lot of those areas need to get warmed up to make sure that we are in a good spot to play. And again, like we just talked about, the key parts, especially for gamers, is our core muscles. So our lower back, our obliques, our rectus abdominis, the front of our abs. Great spot to warm up. Our arms are a critical spot because one, we're going to be holding games, or you're going to be up typing on the keyboard. Because if you have this on the computer, King's Raid on the computer, you're going to be typing and using your mouse. You're going to have to move back and forth. So arms are a good spot to get warmed up. Our hands, fingers, you know, typing, clicking, moving them. Again, spot we need to warm up. Our shoulders, again, another good spot that need to get warmed up because, you know, starts off from the arms, the fingers, the hands, all comes from the shoulders and the neck. So these are a good spot to get warmed up, as well as the neck, because again, a lot of tension, stress from looking down, looking up, looking to the side. You know, those are great areas to start with. And for this specific day, we're going to talk about the neck and the shoulders. Now with the neck, you know, especially in a mobile game, we're not going to have the game held up in front of our face. We're going to be looking down at the game, so our neck's going to be tilted down. So a good way to warm up the neck is simple head roll side to side. Keep your head pointed forward, nose pointed straight ahead. Tilt your head down like you're going to look down to the ground, and you're going to roll your head to the side to the left and then roll to the right. Now doing this 10 times each side, we're going to get the neck warmed up. It's going to get loosened up. Blood flow is going to get easily there. You're going to get those muscles warmed up. So then we're not going to be as stiff. Because if you just look down at a single spot the entire time without getting warmed up, that muscle is going to freeze. It's going to get stiff. We're not going to be able to function properly. And you're going to feel pain there. We don't want any pain in those areas. And again, the shoulders are another part. Very easy spot to warm up. But again, if we're playing any kind of game on the computer, on a mobile phone, on a controller based system or a console based system, our shoulders are going to be holding up. They're going to be moving. We need to have them nice and warmed up. Again, the blood flow from there down to our hands, right, is going to be a nice even flow. If it's cold up there, it's going to get sore. That means the rest of the arm's going to get sore. So we don't want that to happen. So a very, again, easy way to get warmed up in those areas, especially with the shoulders, is shoulder rolls. So what we do is we sit up nice and tall. We bring our shoulders up. Imagine you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together and down. And we can do nice big rolls like that. We do that about 10 times backwards. And then start with the shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And we're going to roll them forward. And we're going to do that 10 times. After you're done, you can do some arm shakes. Get the blood flowing. Blood pumping down the arms. And there we go. Neck's warmed up, so we're not going to get stiffness in that neck. Shoulders are warmed up, so we're not going to get stiff when we're holding the controllers or moving the mouse, keyboards, console games. And then we'll be nice and ready for our gamings. Now, as we go along the beginner's grind, we'll discuss the other parts of the body warm up. The biceps, the triceps, the forearms, the fans, the fingers, the hands, the fingers. And like I said, as we move forward, we're going to continually add on more and more and more to help you guys, help you ladies, with your gaming and even with your everyday life, right? If you're going to go for a walk, now you have an idea, I need to get warmed up. And that's the same thing with everyday. Warming up is a very critical spot. All right, so let's get back into the gameplay. As you see, I've done some 10+1 pulls. I'm upgrading the gear I have on my characters. I'm enhancing them. You've got the gold. It's not very expensive in the very beginning to enhance your game or your character's equipment. And the more stats they have now, the better. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go into these chapter battles, and I'm going to click on the monsters. I'm going to see what kind of stats they have. You're going to see if they do physical damage. You're going to see if they do magical damage. You're going to see if they're weak to magical defense, physical defense, how much HP they have. And you're going to see every one of the enemies you're going to face in those battles. Now, with chapter battles, again, we want to go for ancient gear. Now, we don't want to waste our 5 million gold on just pulling for those 10+1 pulls, but we're going to upgrade that gear to the point where it's good. Now, I'm going through this gear. I'm looking for specific substats. Okay, my damage dealers, I'm looking for attack percent. I'm looking for crit rate. I'm looking for crit damage. I'm looking for attack speed, and maybe a little bit of survivability too as well. A little bit of HP, a little bit of physical defense. But the key points for my damage dealers: attack, crit damage. Even for the healers, attack percent. I mean, you can get crit rate on them because they will crit heal, but, I want my healers to survive. So, attack percent is their main subset I'm going to look for, and then I'm going to look for survivability. HP percent, defense percent, physical defense or magical defense, physical block, magical block. And that's one thing we're going to talk about in another episode here is the different stats and what they mean. We have a lot of stats here. We got physical block, physical dodge, magic block, magic dodge. So I want to go over these to give you guys the best knowledge possible so that we can give you the best start possible, right? We want to get you to those later end games, get you your new characters, get you your rewards, be able to farm the events. So that's my main goal. Now you can see I'm going through, I'm looking at these stats. You can see we had a magical damage dealer and 2 physical damage dealers. So again, I'm looking for overall stats. Neuraxis has great defense. He's going to be a great tank up front to protect my damage dealers and my healers. Not only that, he also buffs defense for the team and also CCs the other team. So let's watch this battle and see how we do. So, as you can see, I took very little damage there. I got good stats on my tank. They didn't even get to my back line. And Marianne and Cleo did their jobs as the damage dealers. Frey did her job as a damage amplifier and healer. Now, as you can see too, these are all free heroes, okay? Other than Neuraxis, who I got from the free 5-star ticket I get for joining the game now, these are all free heroes I'm getting, and they are just plowing through these stages. Now there are certain spots in the first chapter where you have to bring Castle, you have to bring Roy. I can see they're locked in place, but I've upgraded the Cleo, I've upgraded the Fran. Their gears are solid for chapter 1. Again, this is just for chapter 1, so they'll be able to get through this very easily. I don't have to worry about Roy and Castle dying here. When we're going through these chapter battles, we want to try to make sure we get 3-star across the board, right? Every time we get 3-star, it's adding into our overall stars for the chapter, and you get bonus prizes for completing so many stars in the chapter. And if you complete them all, there is the top prize, none the least, that you will get. So as you can see, Cleo just wiped the floor with that boss battle there. No problem whatsoever. I got 3 stars. And I mean, Castle and Roy are going to level up here, but we're not too worried about them. We're more worried about Frey and Cleo. Now, I really want to do what I want to do is get through the end of this chapter and get to chapter 2. This is where we'll get our missions, our achievements, and we'll get that extra stats, extra gold, extra EXP, extra items. So I really want to get there and go over that. So we're going to kind of power through this chapter, and we're going to go from there. As you can see, once again, those two will have no gear on them, lower level than my Frey and my Cleo. I don't have to worry about them. Frey does a great job keeping them alive. Cleo just wipes the floor with all her AoE damage. Again, and you can do this in every battle. You can go in and check their stats. You can check what damage they do, what they're weak to, and build your team based around them. Now in chapter battles, it's going to be hard to do a physical damage team and a magical damage team. So getting your best damage on that team and seeing what the enemies are throwing at you so you can adapt to them. With this game, it's very well built to the fact that you don't have to pay to remove your gear. You can switch gear all the time, so it's not going to cost you anything. The only thing you have to pay is with rubies, is if you want to remove a rune. So in the early game, using your cheaper runes to upgrade a little bit of stats here and there is great. In the end game, you know, making sure you get the top tier gear you're looking for, and then adding your runes to add that little extra onto them is what we're going to look for. But again, as you can see, Neuraxis isn't taking any damage. He's at full health. Marien is at full health. Cleo's at full health. Frey's at full health. This team is doing exactly what I wanted it to do. It's surviving. It's doing a lot of damage. And it's just plowing through these stages. And again, we are skipping through the story. If you want to watch the story in your own playthrough, feel free to. Right now, like I said, I'm just trying to do my best to get all the information I can to you and go from there. Now you can see right there, right below King's Plains, that's what I mean with the stars. For every star you get, you're going to get extra items. It can be rubies, it can be grinds, it can be equipment, it can be unique weapon tickets. So making sure we get those 3 stars in every chapter battle is crucial for the end of each chapter. So make sure, I mean, if you have one character die, go back, redo it, you know, add a little bit of equipment, upgrade the level a little bit. I'm sure that will honestly help you get through those levels without taking any damage or losing a hero. But as you can see with this team, there's no damage. They all got green health bars. Neuraxis is doing exactly what I want him to do. Tanking, not laying them in the background. And I see he's even the top damage dealer too. So he's doing a phenomenal job. That's exactly why I picked him, and exactly why when I got his unique treasure, I was very happy with it. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to grind out the rest of these levels in this chapter, and then at the end of this chapter we will come back and look at the end. Alright, so I've grinded out these levels. I've increased a couple level cap of some of my characters. Cleo I've upgraded to level 2 here. I've kept Frey where she's at. Neuraxis is already level 5, so I'm not too worried about it. What I'm doing here is going through, I'm looking for different substats. I'm looking to see if I can upgrade their gear before going into the final battle. Again, looking at their substats is very critical for this game. You want to look for specific substats for specific type of characters. It can be attack speed, attack percent. And so that's exactly what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for Cleo to see if I can upgrade her attack percent stats at all. Now Neuraxis, he's got basic blue gear, basic purple gear. So I'm looking for any kind of level increase, any kind of increase with the gear type. Because you can see with blue level, you're getting plus 10. With purple and ancient, it goes up to plus 15. So you're getting that extra PDEF, MDEF, HP, attack. So I'm definitely looking for that. I'm also looking for this ancient gear to add on to my characters. Again, ancient gear, phenomenal for chapter battles. Again, increasing attack, dealt to, and decreasing damage given to us. And again, I'm doing this because we're going to be going into our last chapter battle for this one. Sorry for the stutter. It's been a long day. But again, I'm just increasing the gear for now. Again, this is just T1 gear. We're going to get T2 gear in the next chapter. And as we go forward, each chapter, you're going to increase the tier type. So right now we're tier 1. In chapter 2 will be tier 2. And so forth until we get to the final chapters where we'll get legendary gear. Alright. Last chapter battle here. Let's see how our team does. Then you can see we got an extra character here. It's Kloss. He is a free character you will receive at the end of this chapter. That is the free physical damage healer or tank I mentioned in beginner grind 1. So I mean, you don't have to worry too much about him because I got Neuraxis out front. He'll be doing most of the tanking, and with Klaus, he does increase physical damage dealt to characters, but we don't have any physical characters. But as you can see, this is the very last boss battle in this chapter, and my team isn't taking any damage. They are full health. Cleo's wiping them with her AoE damage. Mariana is going in and dealing damage to their main damage dealers. And then look at that. We have completed chapter 1. We will get our missions. We will get our achievements. We might already have our achievements, but we will get our missions, and this is where we're going to really get that big boost to be able to climb these chapters a lot easier, because when you get to chapter 4, chapter 5, it gets a little bit more difficult. But with these little tricks and tips, we'll be able to actually get through these chapters a lot easier. And as you can see there, we got some good ancient gear as well. So after each chapter is completed, we will open the upper dungeon. The upper dungeon is where we go to get our essences. So our essences allow us to craft our infinity stones. They allow us to upgrade our tier. So if we start with a tier 1 champion like we have with Cleo, we have to get these essences to be able to upgrade to a tier 2 or tier 3 and tier 4. And in our next beginner's grind, we're going to go over the Tower of Ordeals and how we do this, because in this Tower of Ordeals you can get a free character. Her name is Curze. She is a magic damage dealer. She is a hero that was made by a fan art, I believe. So great free hero, and she's a magic damage dealer, which is great for this team. But the plus side too is if I want to take out Marianne and put in her, she's going to increase CC damage, or CC by our heroes, by all our heroes, not just her. So she is a good, she's also another hero that slept on, but also a very good hero to get. Now as you can see here, we're picking up Klaus, the physical tank. So if you did want to go a physical damage dealer, then that's your physical tank you would use. And again, we can go over them in another episode, talk about the heroes I'm not using and what they can bring to the game. And as you can see down here, we've got our missions unlocked, our achievements are unlocked, and we will go over that again too in another episode of how to give you best boost to this game. So as I kind of finish up here, going over a few things, we're going to go over Mage General Shop here. We're going to see if we can get some items. This is also part of one of the missions, is getting these items and buying items from her. I am buying artifact pieces because I do want to get artifacts. But you can get some good gear to start yourself off with from here. Other than that, you have your equipment shop here. You got Junos. But other than that, guys, this is the end of the video. Leave a comment down below. If you want. We will be doing a giveaway in the next couple weeks. There is going to be a face reveal later on today, once I get the video uploaded, and it's going to talk about the giveaway. But a big shout out to Vespa King's Raid. I've absolutely loved doing this channel and loving doing this game. I hope to continue doing this later on down the road and helping everyone from beginners to experienced players in this game. Other than that, leave a comment down below if there's anything you would like to know about health wise or training wise, and we'll go from there. Other than that, have a great holidays. I know Christmas is tomorrow, so whoever's celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas, and stay chilly YouTube, and we'll see you next time.